everyone, welcome back to the Win-Win Law podcast. I'm Alex, your host, and today we are joined with Julie Chen. I added like fake claps at that part, so it's okay. Starting off, Julie, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, and how you ended up here at Win-Win Law.
All right, so again, she said I'm Julie Chen. I'm an attorney at Win-Win Law. I am a SoCal native. I actually grew up in Rancho Cucamonga. I went to UC Irvine, and then I went to Southwestern Law out in LA. I graduated at 2008, kind of during the housing crash. I jumped straight into bankruptcy and all of the unfun stuff like divorce. And then I had opened my own law firm, had a few attorneys under me. And about 2 years ago, I kind of stepped away, and then I decided to pursue some personal injury. I had done that in the 15 years I've been practicing. And then just looking for, kind of a better fit, I found Win-Win Law, and here I am.
Yeah, glad you found us after your long journey. But I know you've told me your story before, but how about we take a step back and talk about your undergrad experience and how that's kind of led your journey up until now.
Right. So, like I said, I grew up in Rancho Cucamonga. My parents are Vietnamese. They're immigrants who came here at the fall of Saigon. And so I, wanted to stay close to home. And so UCI seemed like the best fit. Growing up in Rancho, it's more of a diverse mix of people. UCI kind of was a little bit of shock. There were so many Asian people. But, just trying to dive into that, I joined, the Vietnamese American Coalition. I made great friends. And that kind of shaped me to go, okay, what am I going to do as my next step? Right? And growing up as immigrant families, you get two options. It's either doctor or lawyer. And I hated AP Bio. So lawyer it was. Pretty much I've always had to fill out all of the permission school trips for us. I've had to translate everything. So I said, okay, this seems like something a lawyer would do. So I think I'm pretty well versed in that. So I did international studies because I knew I could get a pretty good GPA. And then just started applying for law school and then kind of went straight ahead. So I graduated UCI at 21 and then went straight into law school.
That's tough to do, especially now. So back then, lots of credit to you.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your law school journey as well. What were your most memorable experiences throughout that time in school?
I would say going into law school at 21 I was naive. I thought, legally blonde. You go in, you study hard. But the moment I stepped in, there were so many different people at so many different backgrounds. A lot of actually older students. And I was expecting everyone to be in their young 20s. No, these people had full careers before they decided to jump into law school. Had, paralegal jobs or had family members who were lawyers. I went in knowing nothing. So the moment I stepped into law school, Was it like a deer in headlights moment for you? What did I just get myself into? Yes. I just opened a textbook and I was like, this is not even English. It's Latin, right? And so I was a bit freaked out because they cut out the bottom third and I was like, I took out all these loans. I can't flunk.
Is that a thing across all law schools or just certain law schools?
I believe for the most part they have to wean out the bottom third. And so I made the jump and I was like, all right, I'm going to LA. I want to be a big girl. And so, I just felt like, man, what did I get myself into? Everybody else, had a clique. They had their own study groups and I'm like, can I join? And so that was a really hard, life-changing thing, just stepping into, I felt like everybody knew what was going on and I didn't. And that's when I learned the power of networking.
Okay.
I started to talk to the other students. I said, hey, how are you guys getting this material? They said, oh, you have to get outlines from upperclassmen. You have to do this. You have to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when I started to, kind of make friends and try to navigate my way through the first year. And it's like bittersweet. I'm like, I'm glad I made it past the first year, but I'm like, if I didn't make it, maybe I'd be on a different path. But, I'm here now. Yeah.
Speaking about that, if you were to have not gone down the law school path, do you have an idea of what that would have been for you? Like, did you have any idea of your interests at that time outside of law school? Because it sounded like you're pretty set on one path, but I was just wondering if like anything else like was popping into your mind.
I didn't have a set path that I was just like, I'm just going to go to law school or bust. But like going back and thinking now, I'm like, oh, I really loved real estate. You know, me and my husband's purchased a couple of homes, and I'm like, I would be good at this. I should have maybe gone into real estate, you know? Hindsight's 2020. But it's a funny thing. We have 2 daughters, and I always tell them, you're not allowed to be lawyers. I want you to find your true passion first.
Yeah.
And then if you ever decided to become a lawyer, I will take you to work, and then maybe you'll change your mind again.
Come to work with me, day in the life with mom, and you're going to change your mind right away.
Correct. Correct.
It's not all what you see or think, for sure.
No,
for
because
sure.
if you watch Suits, they don't have a single piece of paper on their desk, right? they have one little folder and a briefcase. They look great in their suits, but the hard work that goes behind it, the thousands of pages you have to review, the weekends, the holidays missed, it's not fun, to say the least.
Accurately portrayed, for sure, in media.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on now into your actual career, the good stuff.
Okay.
You've been practicing for 15 plus years. Could you walk us through your journey, how you broke into family law specifically, and eventually switching over into a different field?
Okay, so like I said, I started when it was the big housing crash. So when it's a bad turn in the economy, the only firms that will hire you are generally bankruptcy. And when people are going bankrupt, they usually are getting a divorce. So I was exposed to that first, right? And so I was working on, bankruptcy petitions. Then I would talk to a couple of people, and they're like, well, I need help with divorce, right?
Okay.
And I kind of fell into place since I didn't have a background in anything else. Family law was a relatable area, right? It wasn't like mergers and acquisitions or corporations and things.
Something too difficult to break into.
Right.
But can I ask how that opportunity or access became available? Was it through school, through personal connections that you found?
So there was a funny thing called Craigslist back in the day.
Still a thing for very different reasons now.
That's where you actually looked for jobs. And so I said, the housing crash, all of the bankruptcy firms were like, we need, beginner attorneys and things like that. So I did that. And then when you're learning, you go through everybody's finances, then they start to talk about the cracks in their marriage and things like that. So that's where it was like, hey, we have this, family law issue. Can you help us with it? And it kind of just went in that direction, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
The second part of the question was there a certain turning point, any certain experiences, or just throughout your journey made you eventually want to switch your field?
So I would say there was a lady that came to me. Obviously, I'm a new attorney, and she was like, I need help with a restraining order. So restraining orders are a part of family law. And I said, okay, I don't have that much experience, but I will look at all of the facts of your case. I will leave no, stone unturned. And so we started to dive into her, restraining order petition. And it was the little things that gave us what I quote unquote got the win. She got the restraining order because she was like, I don't have, pictures of him battering me, but he controlled my life. He made my life a living hell. She's like, I had this business, and he's even gone to the post office and changed all of my mail to his address, right? So he's basically stealing from me financially, which is a part of restraining orders. And I was able to get the record where he changed the postal address from her business to his address, which was just enough to show to the judge, like, he's controlling every aspect of my life. Because when everybody thinks about restraining orders, they think the bruises, all of those things, but that wasn't it. And so it helped her so much. It basically turned her life around. She's basically able to regain her independence and get away from someone, right? And so she started to refer more people who had issues with that, and then it just turned into this 15-year career, I would say.
Okay, nice. So throughout the different areas that you've practiced with all your experience, do you think any of them have changed you as a person? Or do you think any of those fields have made you a better or worse person?
So I've been practicing family law generally for the most part, and I would say you learn how to be a better person for your partner and to let things go. You know, no one gets into a marriage thinking they're going to get divorced, but you can pinpoint what went wrong, right? People say communication is key. Communication is key, but how you communicate, right?
Right.
And so I would learn to not sweat the small stuff in my own marriage, I would say.
Okay.
Like the dirty socks on the ground, or
let it go.
Right, let it go. Or, you know, when you start to have kids, right? How you parent and how they parent and how grandparents parent all become an issue, right? Oh, your mom did this. Oh, your mom did that. Or your dad did, you know, and then it creates all this tension in your household. You have to be able to set those ground rules of what your expectations are and communicate those expectations. I think a lot of things that go wrong are misunderstandings. And so I usually tell my girlfriends or my friends, I'm like, hey, if you want something, you actually have to spell it out. Sorry, we're from different planets, men and women, right? If you want that bag, you got to say you want that bag. If you want to go on a trip, you want to say that. You can't expect him to read your mind and be like, oh, that's the restaurant you wanted to go to. You know, so I joke around about that, but it's true. You have to be able to communicate what your needs and wants are to have a successful marriage. So I feel like I've taken that away from it.
Okay.
The bad side is I'm pretty cynical. Like, I will say, like, hey, that crazy person attracted that crazy person. I see what is happening there. And so I do prejudge some people sometimes just based on things like that. But for the most part, I try to take that into my marriage and go, is it worth it to fight?
I think that's such a, like, in your position in that career field, it's a whole different perspective because you're not only trying to understand what's going on now from a completely outside perspective view, you're trying to also navigate, I can't be the one to judge or add too much of your own personal input into it either, right? You're just trying to do your best to help your client.
Yeah, because you're part-time therapist, right?
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I would say there's a joke. They say family law is good people at their worst, right? Because everyone can get petty. And criminal law is bad people at their best because they're not trying to go back in. You know, they're not trying to go see the judge. So they're on their best behavior. But with family law clients, you know, it's serious issues, but then it's also like, oh, he didn't do this. He didn't, you know, he took the boys on a trip and, you know, he didn't tell me he was coming back late. I'm like, let it go, you know? So that's my 2 cents on the 2 areas.
Moving on, do you think, looking back at pursuing that field of law, do you have any regrets going into family, or do you wish that there was an alternative field that you could have explored more earlier in your career?
It's hard because I don't think that I would have known the areas of law without going into family law first. Family law is actually a little bit of everything. So I've had to touch on a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
You're touching on finances. You're touching on business, right? So a lot of my clients have businesses, so I have to learn that corporation and how it was formed and about their partners and how it's been run, right? You have to learn about real estate, so property law all in one. You have to learn about taxes, which I tried to avoid like the plague. I thought I went into law to not deal with numbers.
And math.
And math, it was all math, right? I was like, I have to balance the sheets and be like, you get this and you get that. So knowing what I know now, I probably would have done something more transactional, like contracts or wills and trusts, because with wills and trusts, you know, that person dies. They can't come back and pepper you with a million questions, right?
Right.
But that's just because I know that now, and with family law, I was able to learn all those different areas of law, even personal injury. Because you could be going through a divorce and getting into a car accident, and that's also how it was kind of like a good segue. I would handle that in family law, and I was like, this is a little bit less stressful.
Wait, I can kind of breathe now.
Yeah, I can breathe now, working on your PI case, but now I'm dealing with your family law case, so.
That just reminds me, the business aspect of running your own firm. How did you navigate that on top of all of the cases that you handled personally?
It was hard because with family law, it's billables, right?
Yeah.
So you charge per the hour. And like I said before, people are petty. So they're like, I want to go after them hard. Everyone's like, I want to do everything to make their lives a living hell. Doing that costs money, right? And so I would be like breaking it down. I said, every time you want to take them to court because you want to take them for a longer summer vacation, right? That's going to cost you $5,000 to $8,000. If you think that they're hiding money from you, each subpoena is going to cost you $1,000 to $2,000. Then we're going to have to review it. Then we're going to have to go to court. This could cost you $20,000. I was like, how hard do you want to go on making their lives a living hell? Because are you financially stable enough to do that? Because you're basically funding my kids' college while taking away from your kids' college. Do you want to do that? So that was hard because then I would have to always hit them up for money. I didn't love to do that, right? But it's a part of running your business, you know? And so that aspect was definitely not something that I had anticipated. But it makes you grow up fast, I would say.
Dang. Do you have anybody that you think helped you throughout this experience in building your own firm, like a mentor, somebody that walked you through helping you build like what you created at that time, or was this purely just Julie's will?
I would say, like, I had two other partners.
Okay.
And I leaned on them, but they also came from the same background, right?
Okay.
And yeah, we just pulled ourselves up from our bootstraps. We did have a few mentors here and there, but that's not the way I would do it.
Yeah.
Looking back, I would ask people like, hey, how did you maximize this? Did you get lines of credit? How did you make payroll? What did you do to, optimize, getting the high paying clients versus, this. And so I truly believe in mentors if I was able to do it again. But I think it's also, I have, an entrepreneurial background with my parents, like everybody else. My parents had a couple of nail shops. They came here, they didn't know what they were doing, and they opened a nail shop and
figure it out along the way.
They figured it out. Obviously, they had their wins, but they had their fails too, right? And so I saw them do it and do it with no fear. So I was like, okay, well, I'm young still, so let me try. But yeah, mentors all the way.
Okay, perfect. Looking back now, throughout all your experiences, throughout all the work that you've put into building your own firm, and now just taking a little bit of a step back, how would you define success at this point in your life?
For me, I have two girls, like I said, 13 and 10, around that age. I define success as being able to own your own time. Being able to make your own schedule and still having that work-life balance, right? Success to me is not necessarily a dollar figure. Obviously, we live in California and it's very expensive to live here. But to me, success is being able to pick up my kid at, on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., right? Or to take the time off, here and there, to go on a vacation and not have to worry. I think that truly is success because I think for the most part, everyone's being able to chase how they want to define their own lives and live it. So for me, it's time, owning your own time.
I think I would agree with that as well, and something a lot of young kids my generation are trying to strive for, but don't really know how to put into words. I feel like a lot of us are just chasing this goal of steady career, steady future, income. I feel like the idea of it is very monetized in the dollar value aspect of it, because I feel like a lot of us think about financial stability will gain us that freedom and that time that we're all looking for, but I think you put it really well together. Well said. Is that what you would tell your kids as well?
I've been telling them, I'll be honest, I tell them, you have to get the good grades now to get into a good college. I still want them to go to college, but more so that they can learn how to manage their time with school and friends. And I'm like, you have to get into that good school because that's where you would potentially meet your lifelong friends and have the most fun. Let's be honest. Going to community college and those parties are not going to be as fun as going to these bigger colleges. And I'm like, hey, you can go party on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday and still study Monday through Friday whenever you want. Right.
Look at me, guys. I turned out okay.
But I do want them to pursue a passion because then work wouldn't feel like work.
Right.
You know, I was kind of like, oh, you have to do this and you have to study hard, and I just don't wish that for them. I want them to be happy with what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. But I also tell them that you can change it. You can reinvent yourself. And you shouldn't be afraid to do that, you know. They have the ability to make those changes, you know, at age 20, 30, and people are reinventing themselves at 40 and 50. So, you know, I think the way our parents were like, you have to do this, and it's a rigid path. We've seen so many successful people do it their own way. And so I try to, you know, let them know that they should do that, but I would like them to go to college still.
Once they're of age and old enough to understand, I'm sure they'll be more than grateful for the opportunity that you've given them to pursue that freely, whatever they want. And I already know your advice for me personally, but for the next generation of aspiring lawyers, what advice would you give them? And it could be anything, about anything, like pursuing law, undergrad education, career paths, life. Just a piece of advice for the younger generation to take away from you.
So if their idea of a career path would be lawyer, I would say take a year or two after college to work, right? Whether it be a law firm or whether it be a different area, because law touches everything. Yeah. And you might not know what you're going to fall into. I do believe that, you know, life takes these turns, but they're kind of directing your path the way it should go, right? And so I found the most successful people in law school were those who did other things first, because they realized this is what I need to do to be successful. I would say the 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds that entered law school were not at the top of their class. It was that 30-year-old who was like, okay, I made a financial decision to go to law school, right? I'm paying for it myself. I'm going to get the most out of it. But I would say to work in whatever field, even if it's marketing, even if it's, you know, social media or working at a car dealership, it doesn't matter because you learn life experiences just from that, right? And if you still want to pursue law, definitely find a lawyer, you know, a friend's dad, or just start working there. Internships, right? Just start working for free and just seeing what it feels like to be in a law firm and the day-to-day of what it is. Reading the case files, reading about, or going to court even and seeing how things proceed, because it might be a different experience than you thought it would be. So I would say go out, get life experience, and if you still want to do it, a mentor.
Law school will always be there for you, right? That's what you told me.
Yes. Law school and a $200,000 loan is always going to be waiting for you. So at least make sure you want to make that investment first.
Right. That's a really good piece of advice. I feel like, again, growing up in a very rigid Asian American household, you are just given one of very few options to pursue something that is considered stable in the eyes of your parents. But the financial cost, who's going to end up paying for it at the end of the day, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, right? It's the student themselves. So I think before considering such an important decision that will determine your whole life, it's really good step to think a little bit harder about choosing wisely. But moving forward, to wrap things up a little bit, I want to ask you a little bit fun question about who you are outside of the office, outside of Win-Win Law, and what do you like to do for fun in your personal life?
So I've been with my husband we met at UCI.
UCI sweetheart story.
So we've been together for like 20 years.
Crazy.
We basically grew up together, but we've always had a strong love of music. You know, he DJ'd before, and he actually has always followed his passion. He is in the ticketing sphere, so he tickets concerts, Coachella, big sporting events, the things that he loves. And so it has given us the opportunity to go to a lot of concerts and music festivals, and we still do that to this day. The girls know, April, mom and dad are at Coachella. They're, going both weekends. So we love to go to a lot of concerts. I would say for the genre of music, it doesn't matter. So we love hip hop, but we also will listen to EDM. We'll listen to rock.
Okay, top 3 artists, go. Go. On the spot.
On the spot. It just depends on what venue.
Oh, okay,
I have different loves for different venues.
Oh, she's bougie. She has specific artist, specific venue tiers.
Yes.
It'll depend on her mood, too.
Yes. I do love Bieber, though. I'm a believer through and through. I also love this French DJ, Polo y Pan.
Okay.
I got to see them at Red Rocks, outdoor venue. It was amazing.
Colorado, right?
Yes. And so that was really fun. But I also like to see U2 at like the Rose Bowl or So those rock bands are great outside. But they shut it down. But I really loved Lovers and Friends. That was a hip hop one in Vegas.
Oh. Is that the one that you just went to?
No.
Different one?
Different. They stopped that. But I was able to listen to like Yin Yang Twins and like Busta Rhymes. So I do love a lot of different genres. I've even taken the girls to see Adele in Vegas.
No way.
Amazing performer, So we love everything. And then we also love to travel. So I love to travel and I love to eat. So I would say that there isn't a food that I wouldn't try.
Really?
Yes, I will try.
Is there a crazy exotic food that you've tried?
We recently went to Mexico City, so I ate a lot of bugs.
Ooh.
So that was, everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But the bugs were great. And then Asian food, we always have chicken feet, we have balut, we have all of those different things. But I will try it all.
Fun.
Yes.
Okay. And last but not least, do you have any last words of wisdom that you'd like to share with somebody that's listening who's on the fence of figuring out their own path?
I would say if you're interested in something, you guys have social media, you have people that you can contact, you can find someone somewhere on the internet, reach out. Like, I think that, most people are like, I want to do something, I don't know where to start. The first thing is just making that phone call, or I guess that DM now, right? So if you guys are interested in law, you can always DM our office, right?
Yes, you can.
You can DM our office, but I've been seeing on the internet like people who post financial content or sales content. I think people are receptive to those messages. Just take a shot at it, right? You guys have the internet, right? Before I grew up in a time where there was no internet, you can reach out.
Time with the pigeons.
The pigeon carrier, right?
Like delivering it by a scroll.
Yes. So reach out and get yourself out there, because the worst thing you can do is do nothing, right? Reaching out to one person can open up their network of people. And so that's what I would do. If you had an interest in something, just find out anybody to reach out to and just start there, because I think that's the hardest thing to do.
I feel like that's half the battle.
It is definitely half the battle.
Like putting yourself out there, taking that very first step and believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Just having faith in the energy that will come back to you.
Yeah, and if you're in college, I'm sure, I don't know, do they still have a career center?
They do, for sure.
I'm sure they have a counselor. I'm sure they have someone that you can say, hey, is there like a group or a club, right? They'll usually have events. Go out to an event, right? And talk about your passions because you don't know who's listening. So if you're out in a run club out in Newport Beach and you say, oh, I'm really, really interested in this.
Right.
I would say 9 times out of 10, someone's going to be like, oh, I know someone who does that.
I work in that. Yeah.
So
something like that.
I would say get yourself out there.
I feel like that is just a great kind of opportunity, way to get yourself into not only a professional field, but something you're passionate about too. Like, there shouldn't be a reason why you would be scared to talk about something you're passionate working in. And the opportunities are endless, truly, when you talk to the people around you.
Yeah, definitely. Don't be scared. If you don't know anything, that's why you ask questions and people expect that. So you're not going to look stupid. You're going to look like you really are passionate about it.
True. All right. Well, thank you so much, Julie, for joining us on our podcast today. Thanks for watching.